Hi there, my name is Sonia Chowdhury, and today I'm going to help you contextualize 4 of the key terms used frequently when referring to the MAP growth assessment. Let's dive in. The first term is adaptive assessment. The MAP growth test is an adaptive assessment. It's designed to evaluate a student's academic proficiency with a high degree of precision. Unlike traditional standardized tests that present the same set of questions to all students, an adaptive assessment basically dynamically adjusts the difficulty of its questions in real time based on a student's responses. What that means is when a student begins the MAP test, they're given questions of average difficulty. If the student is able to answer correctly, the next question will be more challenging. However, if the student answers incorrectly, the following question will be easier. This process continues throughout the test with the goal of honing in on the student's true level of knowledge and skills. There are actually several benefits of adaptive assessments I'd like to mention at this point. By tailoring the difficulty of questions to a student's performance, the MAP test provides a more personalized and accurate assessment of their abilities. It recognizes that students are at different levels of understanding and adjusts the test accordingly, ensuring that the questions are neither too easy nor too difficult for the individual. The adaptive approach allows for a more precise measurement of a student's academic strengths and areas for improvement. Traditional tests often fail to capture the full range of a student's abilities, especially for those who are either above or below average level. The MAP test, however, can identify subtle differences in proficiency by continuously adjusting the challenge level. Because the questions are matched to a student's ability, the MAP test is more engaging and less frustrating. Students are less likely to become discouraged by questions that are too difficult or bored by questions that are too easy. This balanced level of challenge helps maintain student motivation and engagement and their focus throughout the assessment. It also results in shorter testing times with instantly available scores. The detailed data that's generated by the MAP test provides educators with valuable insights into student learning needs. Therefore, teachers can use this information to tailor instruction, provide targeted support where it's needed most, and create enriching learning experiences for advanced students and all students. This leads to more effective teaching strategies that better address the diverse needs of the classroom. And finally, because the MAP test is designed to be administered multiple times throughout the school year, this allows for tracking of student growth and progress over time. This longitudinal data helps educators and parents see how a student is growing academically and can highlight trends or areas. The next term we'll be diving into is, what is a RIT score? So a RIT score represents a student's level of achievement. It stands for Roche unit. Unlike traditional scoring systems that compare a student's performance to a norm group, a RIT scale is an equal interval scale, meaning that the difference between the scores is consistent across the entire range of the scale. That allows for precise measurement of student growth over time. A RIT score represents a point on a continuous scale of learning. It's similar to measuring a student's height with a yardstick. It's not evaluative, but tells us where a child is at any given point in time. So for example, you might have a chart in your home where you mark a child's height at certain times, like on his or her birthday. So MAP assessments do a similar sort of thing, except they measure a student's growth in mathematics and reading. The RIT scale is an achievement scale. It's accurate, it's equal intervals, it's useful for measuring growth over time, and it's the same regardless of age or grade of the student. If a student has a particular RIT score, it means that the student is about 50% likely to correctly answer an item calibrated at that RIT level. RIT scores are particularly useful to informing instruction. Teachers are able to analyze RIT scores to identify students' areas of strength and areas for improvement. By understanding where a student is excelling or struggling, teachers can tailor instruction to address specific needs. For example, a student with a high RIT score in reading might need more advanced material, while a student with a lower score might require additional support with foundational skills. RIT scores also help teachers group students with similar instructional needs. This allows for more targeted and effective teaching strategies. For example, small groups can be formed to focus on particular skills, enabling more personalized and differentiated instruction. Teachers use RIT scores to set realistic and measurable academic goals for their students. By comparing RIT scores from different testing periods like beginning of year, middle of year, to end of year, teachers can monitor student progress and adjust instructional strategies accordingly. This ongoing assessment and progress monitoring can help ensure that students are making continuous academic growth. The RIT score is a valuable tool in the MAP assessment that enables teachers to tailor instruction to meet the specific needs of their students, track academic growth, and ensure that each student receives appropriate levels of challenge and support. The next term we'll be looking at is the zone of proximal development. This is a term that was coined by psychologist Lev Vygotsky in the 20th century, and it describes a range of tasks that a student can perform with scaffolding, but that they cannot accomplish independently just yet. The zone of proximal development, or ZPD, represents potential for cognitive development and learning that's just beyond the student's current capabilities or abilities, and it's referred to as the sweet spot. This is where instruction is the most beneficial for students at just beyond their current level, and instruction is not too difficult nor too easy. With constant feedback or scaffolding and utilization of the zone of proximal development, we know that students' learning and understanding can continue to develop at an appropriate pace and grow. The next term we'll be looking at is normative data. Normative data refers to data that's been collected from a large representative sample of individuals to establish norms or benchmarks. These benchmarks represent typical performance or characteristics of a given population, and they are used to compare and interpret individual scores within the context of that population. Norms are provided by MAP every 3 years. This is anonymous data from more than 10 million students around the country. Knowing the scores of all these students combined allows teachers to compare where their students are in relation to other students' expected level of performance and help them grow. The MAP test uses normative data to compare a student's performance to that of the national sample of students. This helps educators understand how the student is performing relative to peers across the country. For example, if a student's RIT score places them in the 75th percentile, it means that student performed better than 75% of students in that normative sample. Normative data provides benchmarks for typical academic growth over a specific period of time. Teachers can use benchmarks to set realistic and challenging growth targets for their students. Understanding where a student stands in relation to norms helps in setting personalized goals that are ambitious yet attainable for that student. Knowing the top, middle, and bottom scores of all these students combined allows teachers to compare where one student is relative to other students and help them identify how to help students grow. I hope I was able to provide you further clarity around the key terms associated with MAP growth. Please feel free to reach out with any questions to my email. My email address is on the screen. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.